Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Frequency of Love podcast, where we chat with other couples about their love story, which came from, we were very inspired while we wrote our own, and we realized that it wasn't just us sitting in love, but there is a lot of love stories out there in the world. And in a time right now where we could use some positivity and some feel-good stories, we thought, well, why not hear all the other love stories happening around the world? And so today we get to sit down with Sharon and Dale, and we are so happy to have you here and connect with you. And I can hardly wait to hear your story. So first up, why don't you tell us?
Hello.
And tell us how you guys met.
Who goes first?
Go for it.
Well, we met at the produce aisle at the grocery store over avocados.
No.
Oh, avocados.
We met online, one of the dating apps, and then we talked and, communicated via messaging. And I got down to it and called her. We had a long conversation. I said, would you like to meet? So we set up a date, and we both were to meet at one restaurant. And 5 hours later, we didn't even realize how quickly the time flew by. We hit it off. It was really cool.
To tell you how well that first date went, like when we talked later, we were both done with dating. Like I was telling my girlfriends, I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of this. Last year I had so many first dates. I'm tired of it. I'm done. I'm giving up men for Lent, even though I'm not a practicing Catholic. I'm gonna read all the books in my apartment. I'm gonna decorate this place, and like I'm done. I went on one more date, and I literally remember getting ready for it. Makeup, hair, picking out an outfit, and I was just in an agitated mood, excited, but not hopeful. I'd been on so many first dates. That expression when they say time stood still in the restaurant, he did. First of all, he had the most amazing profile written. It was beautiful, it was deep, it was not just basic, and he spell checked it. That was special. One picture, his eyes just drew me in. And on the date, I just remember the waitress kept checking on us and coming back. Like he actually wanted to talk on the phone and not text message a million messages, right? And then he bought a bottle of wine with the meal. No one's ever done that for me. And so we just kept talking. And the cool thing was he wanted to know about me. He was actually interested in me instead of my typical date where the man talks nonstop about himself. And so at some point in the date, I got up and I went to the bathroom. And I'm washing my hands at the sink, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is what an expert I was at first dates. Appetizer, drink, get out. I was like, this is the second time I've peed in one date. Second time. What time is it? 5 hours had gone by. 5 hours.
Crazy.
Oh, I love that. I love that also, I don't know, that he just caught your attention, and sometimes it's just in the fact of effortless conversation of like, which is then when the connection is forming, but wanting to actually hear the words coming out of the other person's mouth, like how it seems so simple and yet how valuable it is to the person that's being listened to. And
I also get the, multiple first dates. I think I went on like 20, 30, like a lot.
Yeah.
You know right away, then you got to sit there and just kind of wait for the appropriate time.
Yeah, it becomes a skill. You're like, like I'm not trying to check my watch, but
I am.
yeah.
There's so much BS that people throw up about themselves and misrepresent, who they are, what they are. These pictures of them having fun doing this, that, or the other. It's so much BS, I think, a lot of times. And so it was really weird to have an encounter with somebody the first time and boom, which is like magic. I was telling myself, that's it. This is her. And I went home and I talked to my daughter. She goes, how'd it go? And I told her, I said, she's amazing. I'm raving about her. My daughter is saying, Dad, slow down. It's your first date. But it just took off like a rocket ship, the relationship.
Oh, I love that. And so this is my second question, but maybe you've already covered that. Like, when did you know? Like, do you feel, Dale, then like the first night you knew?
Yeah, I did actually. I honestly did. I mean, after the date, you know, I was a gentleman, and, you know, didn't maul her or anything like that. But just walked her to her car and said, you know, let's get together again, that kind of thing. And then I got in my car and I sat and I thought for a minute. I ran back to her car and knocked on the window, and she rolled down her window and I gave her,
Hmm.
and
He said, I forgot something. I'm like, what?
Nice.
Yeah. And so
That's a good
I had
one.
not, for me, I had never felt that kind of instant connection on a first date. And I was looking back on it now, probably I started falling in love with him there. They say I think the window to the soul is through the eyes when people really look at you. But after the date, I ran up to my girlfriend's house. I go, I met this guy. I met this really cool guy. Like I was so excited, like a child. And he had talked about, I guess, getting together in the middle of the week. And I was like, oh, how can I be cool? And so I just invited him for coffee the next day. But yeah, I mean, I didn't see anybody else, crashed the dating online site. Yeah, it was quick.
ditto.
I also, Sharon, like too, like the fact that you don't like same thing happened to us, almost like when you like say you're done. Like there's no force anymore. You're just like hands up. Let's just like, and then in a way, it's almost like it allows the flow to happen.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We surrendered to it. Yeah, it was, the wait was over. I knew eventually I'd meet someone, at least I hoped, but you know, I was getting hopeless, but for sure, I just knew.
Yeah.
And everything was quicker. It felt like we got to know each other so fast, like a review, like when you're reviewing for a test. I had all these safety things in place as a single woman. You know, you can't come to my apartment till blah. He was at my apartment really soon. Even though the first date, I was like, just remember, I have knives hidden everywhere and a loaded gun.
I was impressed with that, actually. Like, you should.
I agree. You're like, that's a turn on.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
Let's see how
8 years-ish.
Yeah, just had our second wedding anniversary, 7 years. So 7 years married, but about
Yeah.
8.5. Yeah.
Mm.
Feels
Nice.
weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. A lot's happened.
Mhm.
I bet. So what's a quality that you loved at the very start that you still adore today? In the other.
Intelligence. I was
That's a good thing.
attracted to the fact that she was intelligent. I mean, I always like people who could push me and challenge me and teach me things that I don't know. It's like I'm wide open to that. And it's like, great, that's interesting. Rather than somebody who's, you know, not terribly sharp in the head and or interesting as a result. And she was intelligent, I could tell, so that was an attractant for me.
I love that. I love that.
For
What about
my,
you?
there's a lot of things, like he's really has a warm heart. He's very sensitive and he cares about people. I love that. And I wish he realized that more. I also like the fact that he can have a conversation and like, he'll tell me, you're right. Like, I think that was the first time in my life a man had ever told me I was right. I'd stop in my tracks. I go, whoa, what did you say? He goes, you're right. No fight, no argument. Okay. So I love that.
Huh. I like that too. It's just the simplicity of
I was
it. in
supposed to
a
say,
way.
it's just the simplicity of it.
Yeah, like how we don't have to make it into a big deal for the reason of it in itself, but we can just, I mean, that's huge awareness, Dale, to have even the awareness in the moment, to be able to acknowledge that.
You know, there's a lot of people that never, under any circumstances, even when warranted beyond reason, say, I'm sorry, you're right, my bad. And they don't own it. To me, it's the easiest thing in the world to do because it's just natural, it's there, you know it. And so it just comes, and there's nothing wrong with saying that and owning.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel there's such a problem with that. I always found that in the workplace too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's okay, I screwed up, no biggie. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you've always been really good at saying you're
Yeah.
sorry,
I know when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Everybody does.
I get defensive, so it's a skill. I would agree. So what do you think keeps you guys both in love through all these years?
The same I think the same stuff, and just, the rocky road of life, you go through twists and turns and ups and downs, and we've been through our share of hard stuff. Sharon beating breast cancer, and I've had some health issues, and in those times you feel the other person's right there with you and holding you up and helping support you. And I've, feel like I've done that with her, and she certainly absolutely has done that with me in a million ways. Being a nurse, when I've had some health issues, has been very valuable and very much appreciated. And she's the best at it.
How sweet. What was the question? What keeps us?
What keeps you in love after all these years?
I think hugely that we don't act our age. We're very playful. We like to have fun. And that was like one of the things that really attracted me to him. Like the second house we moved into needed a lot of repairs. And so we were at Home Depot. And you know those carts, like the big things when you want something big. What do you call those, dude?
Carts.
Anyway, I jumped on it and was holding the railing, expecting him to like be embarrassed and tell me to get down. He starts rolling me through the store. I start filming it on my phone. I go, we're shopping at Home Depot. We're supposed to be Christmas shop. And I just start making a video. Here, Dale, say it. And it was hysterical. And it was like, wow, this guy, it doesn't matter what our age is. He just likes to have fun. And we still do that.
So it sounds like you're up for saying yes. You're not worried about what other people think. It seems like you're just like, sure, why not? And you're trying it on.
That is absolutely true. I could care less about what other people think. And that doesn't mean I try to be a jerk or anything. It's just that I'm me, and I'm 66 now, and this is where I'm at. And so if you like it, great. If you don't, that's also great. Whatever. Have a great life.
Yeah. So
I love that.
And in here, I'm still like 10 sometimes.
Exactly.
I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, wait, 50. Oh, but like, why can't we be silly? Why not? It's fun.
Here's a great saying that says, let me see if I get it right. We don't stop playing. We don't grow old because we stop playing. We stop playing because now I screwed it all up. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think I know what you mean.
Do you think too, because of the health issues you both had, that it's had you value life and living?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, Sharon in particular, has experienced people she has known well, that have passed away in the last few years, quite a few. And then you start to recognize that, life's only so long, and people that are about your age are dropping off. And, that makes you think, and then prioritize once again the relationship, because that's what's really important in life, is things like relationships, be it with your friends or your significant other.
Well, and when you're lucky enough to have someone to go through it with, like kind of what you were saying, like having someone care for you feels good to know that you can have someone in your corner and do it alongside.
That's sure.
That's another big quality in Dale that I love. He always has my back. Like, right or wrong. Now, if I'm wrong, he'll try to talk me off the ledge. But in many different areas, he has my back. He has gone up against was a mutual girlfriend who, like, we both talked and said we have to shed her because she's not serving our life, and her energy is horrible, and she's negative, and she wasn't treating me right as a friend. And so we just quietly divorced her. We didn't make a big deal out of it, but she knew. He sent her a message telling her, you've treated my wife horribly and blah, blah, blah. And he did a really good job. It was like a business little message, and that's who you want in your foxhole for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he values you and he knows who you are, and you shouldn't be treated anything less than that.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone sees you, because he's done that for me too. He's pointed out many people throughout my life, and he's like, they're just taking advantage.
Because Celeste had a lot of friends. She was friends with like 30 years. I'm like, they still see you as that high school, like they don't realize like you're a mom, you're a career professional, whatever it is. Like you have to grow with the person. If someone just sees you in that pigeonhole of the way you were 20 years ago,
You're
you
right.
got to grow with us or you can't stay.
It's funny how some people just stop progressing. It's like you're living in your high school days, and guess what? You're 60 years old, so maybe you should think a little differently than you do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and also, and as you said too, like being here on Earth, like it's really a blip. Like it's really not that long. So you might as well be living it and not stuck in one of the decades of your life. And even though sometimes those decades were fabulous, let them be fabulous. But there's so many more to still happen. And if we're lucky enough to be here to experience them, then let's do something about it.
It's true. Very true.
But a lot of people don't live that way. Okay, what is a quality, a positive quality in the other that you see that they don't always see in themselves?
You go first. They'll give me time to think.
That he is so kind. I mean, he's kind to animals, to his relatives, to his children, to babies. He loves kids and our grandchildren. And he's just a really nice, sweet guy. And I think he knows it maybe, but I don't think he really hears it enough from people because, like you say, people take advantage or they don't treat you right. And so we've had some negative things that I don't think that's accented enough. You agree?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that in particular, but
so that just means that you don't understand your value as a nice human being. There's a reason that animals love you and small children are climbing up your leg. I gotta get rid of this phone that's steeping.
For me, I think it's she is always going out of her way to help anybody with anything, anytime, anywhere, in any way. And she's very, very, very giving, not only to me, but to everybody else that she gets to know and will do things for people to be helpful. Not because she's looking for a reward or credit for it, but just because it's in her nature and it's natural. And I don't think she knows how much she does that and how much she gives of her own energy to do it.
And I can attest. I mean, I haven't known Sharon long, and I can say that you have been completely unconditional because I can feel that it's unconditional with your offering to support me. And I'm still learning in this life how to receive. And so sometimes that, but I'm just saying I've witnessed that and I can see that, and it is an incredible quality to have. It really is. And if anyone's similar to me, sometimes people, they just don't know how to take that in because they haven't grown up or been around my whole life. Have I been around people that have been wanting to help me ever?
Yeah, people do have a hard time with trust. At this age, I'm really a lot better at feeling who I want to, it is kind of good versus bad people, but also to experience joy. Like when you talked about your book and what you're doing, and like, that was the first day that I met you. I was so excited for you. I couldn't believe it that I met a person that is actually doing this. And I legit was excited for you. And it was very exciting. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal to write a book and then to have a podcast. And I'm like, I'm here. I can help you. I love projects. So, yeah. And I just could tell that you were a good person. Don't you think at this age we can kind of screen people like that? Yeah.
Yes, it's taken time, and maybe we've needed help from from our partner to kind of.
I have an innate ability, by the way. An innate ability to like thin the herd before it arrives.
Yes.
It's like, oh, she seems nice. No, she wasn't. No, she was not.
Yeah, and after 15 years, I'm able to trust that. At first, I thought he was just kind of cold, but he knows his boundaries where I have not. And so he immediately is able to go, no, that person was fake, or that person was using you, or like he can read it right off the bat. And now after this much time, I'm able to just go, okay, what was your read?
It's my superpower. Like even like 5 years later, yeah, you're right about him. I know. Okay, well, learn at our own pace. It's all good.
And ultimately, that quality or ability that you have, and that to some extent, I think I have too, is the ability to kind of read somebody's energy, not to, or just get a vibe from them, and you don't even know why, but they sort of hit you a certain way. And it's not to say that making a snap judgment is always good, but you lay back and you kind of observe, and you often find out that you were right, you know?
Yeah. I never knew the language. Celeste taught me the language of like it's an energy or a frequency or whatever. I just kind of knew. And I'm also okay to be wrong. I rarely am. I'm not trying to brag or anything. It's like, no, turns out I was right. That guy's a jackass.
Yeah.
It's a good superpower to have, especially in today's world.
But you're right. It took time for us to put the language to what it is to just have that innate ability. And even with some of the things you've already said, Dale, I'm like, it sounds like you've got a similar thing that you're able to just kind of read. And maybe for the people that have been the givers, it's like sometimes we're clouded with all the extra things that look nice outside. So we don't, where you guys are almost able to just cut through the bullshit and immediately pick up on the vibe of the soul. Yeah, it is a good superpower. Tell us a bit about your weddings then. So you had two? Your weddings. You had 2 weddings?
Okay, yes, 2 weddings. So I tried to be engaged for 2 years. You know, he proposed, like he slipped and said, I love you after 2 weeks. And I looked at him and he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, no. He goes, but I'm not taking it back. I mean it. I do. I love you. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm right there behind you. But it was very fast. And so we met. First date was in March, and then by August he proposed. And so I said, well, let's get married 2 years from now. He goes, oh, no. We're too old for that. So it became planning a wedding pretty quick. And I realized a power that you have when you're engaged is you can get your fiance. I didn't know if as a spouse I could make him do things, but I said, no, if you want to marry me, first you got to go to my sleep doctor because you snore like a chainsaw. And then second, when's the last time you've been to the doctor? So he went to my doctor and just for a checkup, and that started this whole snowball. And the end of it was they found a lump, a mass of something in his lung. He was at least looking at major lung surgery, and it might be cancer. So talk about a slap in the face and wake up. We were just having fun, dating, engaged, and planning a wedding. And so dates were set, deposits were made, people were making airline arrangements. I said, as a nurse, I knew. I said, I have to be your wife. I can't be in that hospital. If something goes wrong during the surgery, your kids are in their early 20s, right? They won't know what to do. I said, we have to get married. So we secretly got married. We got Catherine and Michael to be our witnesses and got this guy to marry us. We picked a place. We went to the park. And I looked up the dates. I go, when was your wedding anniversary? When was yours? So we picked a different month and it all worked out. I go, look, dude, there's a full moon on May 29th. So we went by the creek. I said, okay, we're getting all the elements of the earth, right? We've got the sun, we've got the water. It's going to be a full moon. So we'll get married to the sunset. And I wore a dress that was not a wedding dress, but walking along the creek. And I had this beautiful bouquet of flowers from him. And this little boy, I'll never forget him, he was a blonde. He goes, Mom, they're getting married. So we didn't even tell our kids. And so we pretended the whole time. He couldn't wait to wear his wedding ring. So he's wearing it to work and everything. And then my son would come over. I'd go, take that off, take it off. So we kept it a secret so everybody would be excited. And I wanted to wear the dress and eat cake. So then we had the actual ceremony and just didn't tell people. It was fun.
I love that. And what it meant, like you guys
Well, I didn't say you didn't, did I?
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did propose. Yes.
It's okay. Ours was informal as well. Ours, yeah, totally informal.
It was on a grassy knoll.
but
Glassy soul.
yeah,
I
you're
hope
right.
there were no shots fired.
But yeah, even we knew pretty quick that even because I'd been in a long relationship and nothing had progressed, I'd made a commitment to myself that I wasn't going to proceed unless I lived with that I was engaged before I lived with anyone. So honestly, the first week we dated, even he said, well, let's go find rings. And so it wasn't never an official proposal, but it was just a mention of that's where we're headed. And the people that knew had just gone on our first date was like, I think you should slow down. It's really fast. I'm like, yeah, I guess. But like, we just knew.
Yeah.
Like, very similar. Like, we just kind of knew.
Did you say the first week or weeks?
Week.
Yeah, week.
Yeah, I found an email that he sent 3 days after our first date. And in the email, I'm emailing my coworkers that knew. And I was like, he's just talked about going to get rings this weekend. And they're like, it's like day 3.
I knew. I stand on my decision.
Yeah.
All good.
You'll see when you read the book. It does. We did know on our first date. Like
I think as you're older, when you know, you know. Even some young kids have their stuff together.
Yeah,
Agreed.
you've been around
and
the
it's
block.
connection.
Yeah.
Like it's that energy again, right? Like it's like a remembering, it's a knowing, it's just this. Yeah, yes, of course, I know you. This is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't previously married, but my previous relationship was 7 years. Celeste was 9 years. So, you know what you don't want at by that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would be your best tip if you were to give a tip to keep love strong and connected over the years?
Oh, best tip for other people? I'll go first. Communication. You have to talk. Like I tell young people, being married is not hard. It's living with the person that's really difficult. Communication, open communication. Don't stuff anything in your gut and hold it down there. And always be playful. Like we talked about how we like to be silly and do playful things, have fun adventures, but also keep dating your spouse. Don't just like never put on like lipstick. I don't do it very often, but don't never put on your makeup or wear the nice dress. Don't wait and take your wife out to a nice dinner, no matter who initiates it, but still date your spouse because why should that stop? Go out and have fun. Go out to a nice dinner once in a while. We're careful with money, but once in a while he'll go, let's go to this restaurant for dinner. I'm like, okay, give me 30 minutes. So whether it's planned or spontaneous, I really think it's important to keep dating and talking. What about you, dude?
I agree. I think it's important to kind of like be at moments selfless and also be willing to put maybe something you want to do, the way you want to do it on the shelf and compromise and be willing to sacrifice sometimes. Sacrifice something that maybe you had intended on doing, time spent doing X, Y, or Z, or whatever, and be willing to give some of that up and compromise. And if you follow my point, it's just about it's not about all self-gratification. It's about mutual gratification.
Yeah.
And giving of yourself to accommodate that.
Yeah, I'm just taking that in. I like that. I haven't heard that term together, but mutual gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, like we always talk partnership, but it is the gratification of what we as individuals, as humans, we both want. So that mutual, I like that.
Yeah, there have been times in the last few years he's over something. He'll say, Sharon, I really want to do A. He goes, but I am not going to ask you to do that if it's going to make you completely miserable. Even though I don't want to do choice B, I will do that so that you're happy too. I'm not going to ask you to do something that you completely don't want to do and change your life. So yeah, sure, you're good at that.
I love it. Way to go, guys. So do you have any advice that you would give someone that's looking to call in their life partner or their true love or?
Yeah, who's looking for it?
Their soulmate.
Yeah.
So they're like on the prowl for it, so to speak.
Yes.
almost, it seems like this, to some extent, is like when you're not trying,
Mm.
it might come easier. You just have to be open in your mind. You have to have this openness about you, open to meeting new people, talking to new people, trying things. You have to have an open heart. And if you walk through your life with an open heart, you're going to be way better chance you're going to bump into somebody. So there's a lot of people that I think tend to close off, and they've got certain criteria. There has to be this, this, and this, and nothing else. And they're a little bit blinded by some of the things that they want in a partner or a prospective partner. I think you just go into it with an open heart and not a whole bunch of precise expectations, and let it flow naturally or come or
Yeah.
not.
Beautiful.
It's true.
Beautiful.
True. For me, my biggest advice, three things, is work on yourself, because I was always working on myself at different points in different ways. I did a lot of meditation at some point, and I knew that I had some growing to do. I had a difficult childhood and then a difficult first marriage. And so I had a lot of garbage. You cannot take your suitcases, baggage into the next relationship. It doesn't work. And so I was constantly working on myself. And then there were times I would get sick of dating and I would stop and take a break and just do things for me. And so I had a good friend who's also my physical therapist. She talked a lot about that. And I read a book by Steve Harvey. I can't wait to read your book, but Steve Harvey, it's called Think Like a Man and Act Like a Woman. Really good book. And like part of it was, women, you need to value yourself. And so after my marriage, I set the bar too low. And so that's who I've attracted. And my physical therapist said, Sharon, you are attracting the wrong men with the wrong energy. And at the time, I didn't understand energy and all that. I just got pissed off at her and left. But then I realized once I did all that, worked on myself, read that book, and I had this air of confidence, and it attracted the right people. And that's when things will click. If you don't love yourself first, you're not capable of receiving love or loving anyone else. So that's first. And just like he said, be open to it. We are friends with a lot of single women, and they're like crying, and not crying literally, but oh, I want to meet somebody. And the young girl, the youngest one, 42, she said, are you open to it? And I always tell my friends, look at women, go to the hardware store because that's where the men are. Men, go get them in because that's where the women are. Go places where the other sex is. But like my friend Erin said, are you open to it? You need to be open to receive it. Because this one girl, recently, we had her over for lunch and I called her out. I go, you're sabotaging this, aren't you? She goes, yeah, maybe a little bit. I go, okay, work on that. And the third thing is you have to get out of the house. How many girlfriends do we have? They're like, can you come to my house? And no, get out. You have to, you can't find your soulmate sitting in the house. What about the chance encounters? I mean, I dreamed about that for a long time. Like, oh, I'm going to meet them at the grocery store over produce. That's the lie we tell my dad because he asked me not to online date for safety. So, but everybody, a lot of women have that fantasy. Oh, I'm going to meet them at the grocery store or at church or whatever. Maybe or maybe not. And that's why we did online dating. Get out of the house.
I think it's easier to hook up in terms of finding somebody you're interested in, or I don't mean a hookup, but find somebody that's interesting. If you go to, say, for example, a volunteer opportunity where instead of like going to a bar and seeing a chick you like and, hey, can I buy you a drink? I mean, you're going to have a better chance of finding somebody that's interesting to you and that might work for you, doing something that's more, I don't know, positive or
more from the heart than going out to get drunk and pick me up and maybe get lucky.
Right.